Hey guys, Axel Draws here, and in this video I'm going to be making the helmet that Achilles wears in the movie Troy out of plywood. The first thing I did was draw the helmet on a piece of paper. I used another helmet that I had already built to get the width of my head. I divided the drawing into rectangles so that I could copy one rectangle at a time instead of the entire drawing at once. This makes it easier to copy the drawing accurately and keeps it to scale. Alright folks, got the drawing. First step, I need a piece of plywood that goes along the edge here for the profile. So I'm going to have to trace it onto another piece of paper so that I can then cut that piece of paper out and put it on the plywood. Alright, drawing's on the window. Now I put this piece of paper over it. And the light coming through the window goes through the paper and I can trace over this nice and easy. Okay, so this is the plywood I got. It's 3/4 inch birch. I got the paper I cut out. I'm gonna trace it onto the plywood. So this is the shape of the outside of the helmet. And then I'm gonna draw a line just inside that. That's how thick the plywood's gonna be all around the helmet. And then you want the distance from this inside to that inside to be the width of your head. I use a down-cut jigsaw blade so that the wood doesn't tear up and rip out your line. Alright, these are the sides. Super glue. Here you can see I am assembling the helmet's basic framework with super glue and activator spray. The activator spray makes the glue cure almost instantly, so you can assemble a lot of pieces quickly. You don't have to wait for any parts to dry. If you want what you're building to look a certain way, it's super important to take your time with the measurements during this stage. And it also makes the rest of the process a lot easier if you don't have to go back and change anything. From this point here to this point in a straight line, that's from there to there. So that's going to be the bottom of my curve that I'm going to draw. It's a 20 centimeter line. So that represents the straight line going from here to here, but it's curved in like two directions. Try like that. So the middle point of the bend sort of is at 12. So I'm just going to put a line there and then kind of freestyle this. Cut this out in plywood and we'll see if it works. It probably won't, but then I can change it a little bit. It's actually not terrible. Look at that. So now all I gotta do is make another one. Same exact shape, but obviously mirror image. Pretty good. Okay, I changed my mind. I'm redoing all this. It's too wide, so I'll take these off, cut new ones, and we'll see what that looks like. The parts of the helmet that cover the side of the face were pretty tricky because they're not really connected to anything. That's why you see I taped a ruler to the front of the helmet to show me where the parts came together at the front.
hands are sticking. Oh no. Beauty! Look at that. Okay, hard part's done. Now I just gotta fill in the top part, top half. So I stick it on wherever it fits, and I hold it down, then I mark with a pencil, inside and outside. And I get the edges too, so I know what angle to cut it at. There it is. Then I'll cut that out roughly with a jigsaw. So you can see there's lots of extra room there. And then I go over to the sander. So I do the outside edge first because there has to be a slope going this way. You can see from that line right there. So I'll do that slope right now. See how it's angled now? And then I can just do the inside and make it all a consistent thickness. There you go. All right, one more layer, let's go! Yeah! Woohoo! Whoop whoop! Woohoo! It's easier to glue these on before you sand them, so I'm going to sand them now. All right, bad news, viewers. My little boom, 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 boom thing, the belt, it wore down. So this thing doesn't really work anymore. I got to get a new one. So back to old school. I'm using a handheld one. I'm gonna clamp it in the bench vise so I can stand down the rest of this thing. Duct tape. Check it out, we got the dust collection. Look at that. Okay, so everything's sanded now, but there's still a lot of gaps all over the place, and some parts are too thin. So this is the secret right here. Quality, lightweight, auto body filler. That's the stuff. I'm just gonna smear this all over the helmet, basically on the inside too, and then I can sand it down and it's gonna be perfectly smooth. All right, the ratio is the size of a dollar coin and the size of a pea. And that's a metaphor. So try and keep up. That's about your ratio right there. This stuff makes it harden. James Harden. Should have got a bigger palette. Okay, inside first. All right, that fills in most of the voids. I'm gonna do that basically on the whole thing. All right, here we go. All right, that fits pretty well. So, I don't really know how the ancient Greeks did it, but this is how I'm gonna do it. I bought 3 brooms from the grocery store. Okay, so the nice thing about these is they sort of fan out. They're not all parallel, which means it's going to be easier to make them fan on the actual helmet. I don't really know how I'm going to do this. We're going to figure it out. But I know that when I cut a section of this, I'm going to have to cut this part away. And then on the sides, I'll cover it up with more wood. I'm also going to have to make this thicker. I got a piece of 1/2-inch plywood I'm going to put on here so it's wider. It's going to be as wide as the broom is. So I'm going to start by cutting this part off so I just have this flat piece here. So right here, I want the hairs to be going in basically this direction, which if I lay this right here, that matches up pretty good. But then once you get up to here, these hairs are way above, it's not gonna work, right? So I have to cut out the middle part here, because if I cut off right here, I'm gonna lose some of the fanning out that the hair does, but right here, all the hair is straight. I want the hair to be angled about like this, at this point right here, right? So that's basically where I want the cutoff. So the distance from here to here is the distance I need from here to here, which the difference between that is what I'm going to take out. All right, guys, things are not going well, but I've had a change of plans. I'm gonna glue these two together like this, or just temporarily with hot glue though. This needs to be cut off. Okay, there it is. Okay, I'm taking this edge off right here. I took the edges off so it's more flexible now. So I should be able to just kind of go like this. There we go, that's pretty good. All right, look at that. So I'm obviously gonna trim some of the hair. It's too long right now. I only used 2 out of the 3 brooms, so now I have a broom.
Here I'm cutting out thin plywood to put on the sides of the piece I just built to cover up the edges of the broom.
New belt showed up. It's reverse threads. Huh. Okay, I got these two pieces. They're gonna go here and cover up the gray parts. And I put this edge on them first because it's hard to do after I glue them on. Look at that, pretty cool. Okay, now I gotta do some shaping. I gotta thin it down here, sort of make it curve in and then back out again. I'm gonna do that on the belt sander. All right, look at that.
I did some more shaping with the Dremel tool, and then I had to add a small piece to the front, and I covered up any gaps with bondo so I could sand it smooth.
So when this thing's attached to the helmet, it's gonna be pretty heavy. So before I attach it, I'm gonna drill a bunch of holes in the bottom here to hollow it out and make it lighter. Okay, here we go. All right, so I cut these super thin sticks of plywood on the table saw. I'm gonna round them with a belt sander, and then I can use them for trim pieces all around the edges.
These thin plywood strips work really well because they bend, so I can get nice smooth curves all along the helmet.
Sweet.
Hello viewers, all right, so we got the front part here. I built it up with 2 layers of plywood, then I sanded it all, put some bondo on, got the edges done. I'm gonna do the same thing here on both sides and around all the edges here. We'll see how that goes.
Watch this. gonna make it a bit taller, and then I can round it over. Wow, look at that. That's pretty good. Now I gotta do a edge on it, make it a bit wider, make it look nice.
So this is what the helmet looked like once all the trim pieces were installed and it was ready for paint.
Okay, so for paint, I'm just gonna use acrylic craft paint. I'm gonna start with all black inside and outside. Okay, time to mix some paint.
Once the black base coat was done, I mixed up black, brown, gold, and a little bit of green for a second coat.
Bit more brown and gold. Okay. Okay guys, pay attention. So, you take your leftover hairs from your broom, and then you take a drill bit and you put the drill bit in between the hairs, and then you take red electrical tape. It has to be red, else it doesn't work. Wrap it around this, snip that off, and you're left with a brush that does like random marks. So I can sort of do a texture with that on the helmet. That's pretty cool, I think. I think it'll work. See the texture? It's very random. I think if I build it up with lots of layers, I think it might look okay.
With the base coat done, I could start to slowly build up the texture. I started with the darkest color, which was black, and then worked my way all the way up to bright gold. The final texture resembles a sort of hammered bronze.
Okay, viewers. It's almost done. I just gotta trim the hair part, make it smaller like in this picture. So yeah, let me take the tape off. All right, I'm gonna line this guy up, give him a low taper fade, you know, sort of just, you know. Metal shears, they work quite a bit better than scissors. Okay, very close to done. The last step, after I took the painter's tape off the mohawk thing, I realized the broom is very shiny. It doesn't really match this. So I'm gonna try and paint it black, see if I can sort of tone it down a bit, make it more matte.
Once all the paint had dried, the helmet was finished. If you want to know more about this project, I put a lot of information in the description that I wasn't able to fit into the video.
Look at that bad boy. Bam! Woo-hoo-hoo. Okay guys, moment of truth. I glued some padding onto the inside. It's time to see if this thing fits. Yep, it fits. Check it out, I got the shield. I got a sword too. Pretty cool. I didn't film myself making this because I didn't want to, so if you want to see a video on this, there's nothing you can do. You had to be there.
Check it out, it straps onto the inside. I also made this gladiator helmet and I made a YouTube video on it, so you can watch that if you want to, please. And look at this, I got a saber-toothed tiger skull. I made this out of wood, and that's also a YouTube video. That's basically it for the video, guys. Bye.